But I would like people who are part of this to come and share. It doesn't have to be long, but these are the people that supported you in prayers and in money, and they would like to have a report of what happened. So be bold, be brief, come on up. No, you can stay where you're at. I can walk to you, you can raise your hand, whatever you like. I can probably stretch my legs a little bit. Why don't you go ahead and raise your hand then, and I'll come to you. Or if you don't raise your hand, I'll just walk to you anyway and stand awkwardly in front of you. What did she say? Oh yeah, go ahead, you know, and come up front. I just got completely overruled by my wife, but that's okay. She's probably right. She is a helpmate. I need a lot of help. Hey. If you guys can tell, this is a significant percentage of this group here, of the entire congregation. I think the way I looked at it was around 12 or 13% of our congregation went on this trip. Bobby, go for it, man.
We're gonna start in the middle. Hello, hello. Okay. Well, I was going to wait because...
Mine might be good to go first. You want to?
Bobby, did you hear that?
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead. Not overruled.
Well, the Lord's just been teaching me more and more about His providence, meaning He is really a God who reigns and rules and is over all the details of our life. And there's nothing like a trip like this that gets you out of your comfort zone and into new horizons and new dependencies on Him, which a trip like this certainly does. We had, I know, some lost passports along the way that showed up because they were in places, wallets and passports, all kind of things disappeared, but they always came back. But I just wanted to share one exciting story right at the beginning of God's providential care of our team. When we were in Atlanta, Don and I had the blessing of having pre-check because of our past travels so much. So we left the group and went to pre-check. We were selfish, so we wanted to fly through this. So we did that. We had problems there I won't get into. But we get to the gate thinking we're going to be late because of the problems we had, and there's nobody there. None of these guys are there. And so they start boarding. Everybody gets on the plane, and here's Don and I. And I go up and say, you see there's a bunch of people on this plane, they're not here. And I said, yeah, they better get here because we're going to shut the door in 5 minutes. So I call Ron, and Ron says, well, we're on the tram. If you know Atlanta Airport, that doesn't mean you're close to the gate. And so I said, well, hurry up. They're about to shut this thing down. So we wait, we're pacing, we're looking. And well, I called him back the second time. Ron tells me, fall on the ground and act like you're having a heart attack. Which was probably great advice, but I wasn't willing to do it. And so I call him back and say, Ron, it's done. They said if you don't get here, the whole group will be on standby for whatever they can get you on next, and this is not a good start. And so I said, what do you want Don and I to do? Do we get on the plane or do we wait for you? He said, get on the plane. So we got on the plane and we get in our seats, and then all of a sudden I don't know who I saw first. It may have been Nate. Anyway, I see our purple shirts, and they're getting on the plane, and everybody made it. I don't know how. It's
Okay. I am Ethan Greenlee. I too was part of this trip. This is why I'm up here. And I guess the part that was most impactful to me was when me, my father, a man down there who we were working with named Sammy, he was a great blessing to us throughout the whole trip. He kind of was like our el jefe, means the boss. And me, my father, and Nate went up to this village to deliver water treatment, solar-powered devices that pump ozone into water and kills the bacteria so that they can have clean drinking water. And it was just a huge blessing to be able to walk through that village and see all the people, see their homes, and see their families, and be able to give them these things that we know that could possibly change their life. And I just thought it was a great experience and a great blessing of God to allow me to see that and allow us to put this in their lives.
Well, I'm Lydia. A lot of you know me. I've grown up in this church, and I've been away for a while. But when the trip first came up, I'd been wanting to go for quite a while, and I wasn't able to. So when Dad told me, he said, Joey D wants to know if you want to go on the trip. I said, heck yeah, I want to go on the trip. I've been wanting to go for forever. And so coming to the meetings, getting prepared, and Ron was he said it several times. He was happy for me to go. And the missionary, when we were leaving, we were told no tears when we were leaving, but she was like, I'm glad that you came. And, but starting to prepare for the trip, I wasn't really, I work close to about 60 hours a week. And so I was trying to get as prepared as I could because I was in charge of all the children's stuff, which I can say now was so much fun. And I'm very grateful for all the support, because if we hadn't, it wouldn't have turned out the way that I think it would have. But God He's always got it. And I also had the special privilege of, where are my girls at? All of them. Because I was so nervous, because the last time that I did this trip, I had, a lady there to help me, someone to guide me doing all the children's stuff. But whatever I needed, those girls got it. They were there, and I'm very thankful. And I also really enjoyed being the den mother to Pocket and Mira, and who towards the end of the week were reluctant to get out of bed at 6 a.m., but they did it. And because Mira looked at me, she goes, I don't like getting up early in the morning. I said, I'll help you with that, don't worry. And but it was a good trip. The pictures with the kids, I was told that they quite enjoyed everything. Everywhere we went, whatever village, it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it.
Hello, my name is Nate, son of the pastor here, and I just want to talk about the trip. So this is my first missions trip. Yeah, it's my first. I really enjoyed it, even though I got sick, and it was all better. I really saw God there. Even when I was sick, I felt His presence. And yeah.
I'm Donna Hires, and there's so much I would love to share, but I've chosen two things. And Billy and I were a part of the team, which was awesome, but during the day, while they were doing construction and water filters and healthcare and puppets, etc., we went to mainly spend our time at Nicaragua Christian Academy, and spent time with our missionaries. As most of you know, we're with Missionary Ventures, and part of our role is pastoral care for missionaries. So we have 5 missionaries in Matagalpa where we were going, so we were able to spend time with them. But one couple, he's the director of Nicaragua Christian Academy, and a number of times we've gone down and have made available the opportunity to counsel the staff. And so that's what we did 2.5 of the days that we were there, and just available. And on Monday, we met with a couple, David and Yelka. And as we sat, David was fluent in English, and so he was our interpreter between us and his wife, and it was interesting. But anyway, we discovered as they shared and poured their hearts out that they were having very serious marriage issues, and they were almost to the point of divorce. And just, we talked a long time, we prayed together, and Billy and I felt like that we were supposed to give them homework and to do and meet with them because we had another opportunity to meet with them on Thursday. And so we gave them homework that they did individually and together. And in the midst of, and we prayed. And on Thursday when we met with them, the Lord just incredibly intervened. And that made the whole trip worth it because he restored their relationship. They have a ways to go, but they have tools to work with and a direction. And it was like night and day from Monday to Thursday. And that was the Lord. And just, we're so grateful for that time with them. The second thing was this group. It was amazing to be a part of a team. We had not been a part of a team in 11 years. And so it was amazing to watch the Lord just work in all of our lives, but to see the transformation from the time we started until we ended, and just watch. And we weren't even with them during the day, but in the evening in our team meetings and at meals and just talking and sharing together, just to watch the transformation in lives. It was absolutely precious.
Someone asked me before church started if the trip was wonderful. And I said, thought about it a minute, I said, no, it was good. But since then I've been thinking about it, and I would have said it was wonderful. Wonderful means full of wonder. Because the way I prayed before I left was, Lord, give me eyes to see the way you see. And from the time we got on the bus, when we got through the airport, to the time we arrived at our hotel, I was just sitting by a window looking at the people. And I was amazed. I mean, poverty, things people live in you can't imagine. Some of the houses didn't even have doors, or at least they were open. The ones that could afford it had walls around the house with bars on the windows. When we got to our hotel, there was an armed guard who let us in through a wall around the hotel. And I'm thinking, this is going to be interesting. But what was a wonder for me was as soon as we got to the hotel, I found out I was rooming with Dave. I didn't even know Dave, okay? And I was thinking, okay, this is going to be interesting. You know, I don't know this guy. Well, it was probably the highlight of my trip, rooming with Dave. It really was.
Don't listen to him, don't listen to him.
I found out all of his dark secret. No, not really. No, just I was so comfortable around him, and the things we talked about were deep and profound, but not complicated. You know, I just enjoyed that part of the trip. It was a wonder to me because I've never been in a situation where I could kind of meet someone and then you're going to be living in the same room with them for a week. But also talking to the young girls that went, I was impressed with the depth that I saw there. You know, you don't know teenagers. They don't talk a lot. They're the old people. And, but I just saw a depth. I saw you would be impressed. I never even saw a bad attitude the whole week. I don't know if they were there or not, but I sure didn't see it. They were present and they were engaged. And that I was amazed. You know, Ron was real strict, but you better be on time for our meeting. He's sitting there with his watch, and no one was ever late. That's probably a miracle right there. But you know, Donna made a statement in one of our small groups. She said, when I'm out doing mission work is when I feel fully alive. And I would say probably the way I would describe this trip is the time I was there, I felt fully alive. which means I sensed God's presence. I felt like I was seeing people through His eyes. Even the most mundane things we did brought joy. And it was just an adventure almost every morning to say, all right, who are you going to sit by during breakfast or during an evening, during supper, and talk? And I came back seeing everyone that went on the trip completely differently than I did before we went. So to me, that was the value of the trip.
Hello, I'm Seth Greenlee, and I think from what I took from the trip was being satisfied where you are at in your life. You know, the middle class usually had dirt floors in their housing, and I put myself in that place, and I don't know how I would feel about that. I would be pretty uncomfortable, I suppose. And in the song, I think the first one, it was, "The joy of the Lord is our strength." And we don't need to be rich or poor to be a good Christian. We need to be satisfied with the place that God has given us. And, the joy of the Lord is our strength.
I am Isabella Valenti. I have clearly went on this trip too. And what I really took from this trip was not taking things for granted, because you go from America to, another country and everything is different. There's people walking around with just guns slung on their shoulder, and there's so much poverty. And I'm not used to seeing that. I'm before I went on the trip, I'm thinking, I was like, how is this gonna be? We get there, what is it gonna look like? And I was not prepared for it. And it really struck a nerve, seeing these children, these people who had nothing, but yet they were so happy and humble about what they had. They were so grateful, and that really impacted me, is being grateful for everything you have, even if you don't have a lot. And so, yeah. I'm Ada, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who supported us on this trip. I really enjoyed working with the children and getting to know people on the team that I hadn't really noticed a lot before. And yeah, I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity to go on this trip.
Hello, my name is Mira Claire, and on the trip, I had the opportunity to pray for 2 people, and that was amazing because I really think it helped everyone. Well, the 2 people that I prayed for, it helped them really connect to the Lord and really realize what the atmosphere is and what they're around and what they're seeing. And at dinner that night, I said, wow. In my head, I said, wow, God, this is a real message from you. And I feel so happy to pray for these 2 people. And also, while I was on the trip, I saw these people that didn't have very much, like Bella and Ada said, and Seth said. They don't really have anything, and it made me really realize what people in America really take for granted.
I'm Dave. I don't want to be up here, but I am. Thank goodness Ron was in charge, because if I was, we'd still be sitting waiting for the plane. If you work for God, work with God, you have to be flexible. And that is one of the things that we had to do. Asked a group. Tommy said way too many nice things, but we had a great time. And I offer to you guys, if y'all feel like this might be something that you want to do, really pray about it, because it can change your life. It's meaningful.
Still Seth.
stand side by side if you want. I'm gonna stay close to Pocket. I was just waiting a little while, but I got to the end, I guess. See what the story would be. We're gonna talk about triumph or struggle. We had good stories, right? Sounds pretty good. So we'll talk about some struggles. How's that? Ron asked us a question. He's like, when do you feel fully alive? And at the moment that I was on my trip, I'm like, not right now. I can tell you that much. I told everybody, I'm like, in this group, and we're here on a mission trip, and yet we see things that we take for granted. That's true. But I had absolutely no compassion for the people that I'm, missionizing, for lack of a better term. And that's hard to, I don't know, hard to accept as a Christian. I want to be compassionate. When Christ saw the crowds, his first response was to have compassion for them. Why did he have compassion? Because he understood the situation. The only situation I understood at that moment was I'm uncomfortable, I'm tired of talking to all these people who are wonderful people, but I don't want to talk to them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I want to get up in my bed, I want to sit on my couch and have my nice quiet time with the coffee I like. We build these comfort zones for ourselves, and then we get pressed out. And so the struggle was, essentially, I wasn't living in the moment. That's, when are you most truly alive is the question. And I think it's any time that you decide to let the moment that you're in be lived. And I was just looking for the trip to end. It's like, I can't wait to get home. All right, it's Wednesday. It feels like I've been here a month. Oh, we just got Thursday, Friday, and I'll be home. I can see my wife. I can get back to my couch and not have to talk so much. So that's a teaching moment. It's like these old things that the Lord is moving me from glory to glory. I believe that. I believe that he is transforming my mind and my heart daily. I do believe that, and I see the manifestation of that in so many things in life. And then you get in a position, you get pressed, and you get pushed, and you realize those old habits start coming back. It's like, ooh, I thought this was done. I thought I would sit with these people at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We'd have great conversations about the Lord, and I would be alive and ready. No, I wasn't. And that's a teaching moment. I think glory to glory is sometimes a revealing moment where it's like, wow, we got to see these people and what they have and what we have and see the difference. We got to make new friends. We got to establish relationships. And we also get to see where we still need him. He's not done, and so that's a good thing, right? I still need him in my mind. I still need him in my heart. And when we get to live in that moment, when we're free to allow the Lord to work through us in the moment, that's when we are truly alive. That's when eternity actually gets to meet up with time in the present. So that would be my word to myself and to others. It's like, you know that you're not thinking as the Lord would have you think in the moment, that you're relishing or letting the past disable you. And you also know that you're not thinking the way the Lord wants to when you're just looking ahead constantly. Never ever established here, now, and today. And so that would be my word. It's like, we're always like, what are you saying to me, Lord? Well, if you're meandering back to the past, or if you're reaching forward to the future, I can probably tell you that you're not hearing from the Lord in that moment. That's your flesh. So let the Lord operate with you in the moment. When you're sitting at home with your kids and your wife, or with your spouse, or you're at work, or you're sitting at a table and you don't feel like talking to anybody. Let the Lord operate in the moment. So, this trip was a blessing. The leadership was a blessing. You all are very encouraging. Billy and Donna were very, very encouraging. Just talk about being fully alive in the moment. These guys are like, yes, this is what we do. And they did it. It's just, these guys are like a well-oiled machine. It's really neat to see. And so, thank you for all the support, everybody.
Maybe next year? In faith, yes. All right. Couple things, couple of scriptures I shared with Joey D. When David was on the run with his merry men from King Saul, they had their own city and they got sacked while David was away fighting, doing something. And when they got there, they were all getting ready to stone David because all their wives and all their children and all their belongings were gone. So they went after and found it was the Amalekites. And during their pursuit of them, only half of them were able to continue on. The other half stayed with the baggage. And they were able to find the Amalekites, get everything back that they had lost, recovered. And the men who fought said, it's like, listen, they can get their wives and their children back, but it's like they have no share of the spoil. David, however, says, like, no. These men who stayed with the baggage and guarded and stayed and did these things and stuff like that, they will have a share of the spoil as well. And I felt that was a really award for Joey. He's supposed to come with us. The money he gave helped out in a situation where we would have probably not gotten our water filtration system back. And it's the same thing for you guys who sowed into this, whether with your money or with your time or with your prayers, that you will receive something in your heavenly credit account for helping out with these things. It's a real account in heaven put aside for you guys. So, anyway, that was funny. The other thing what Seth was sharing as well, just concerning, attitudes and feelings and those type of things, the scripture that came to my mind was, there was a father, I believe he asked one of his kids, it's like, listen, I need you guys to come help me out with the harvest. And one of the sons is like, yes, I'll be right out there, we'll get on it. And he never went. And then there was the other one who's like, no, I'm not going out there. But later he did. So the Lord is concerned with our attitudes, but much more with what we do. And the Lord does change our heart, and he does change the way that we think and how we feel. And he does start to begin to control our emotions so we're not just flying around willy-nilly. And this was a mission, and sometimes missions are hard and they're dangerous. And they stretch us beyond what we are used to. Amen. That's the way it should be. And a good parent knows that you need to do it with your own kids as well. You need to stretch beyond what they're comfortable with. And the Lord does that for us. And just because you're going through a hard time and a difficult time doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong, possibly. You might be doing something right before the Lord. He's just growing you up. And sometimes there's pain in that. So, hopefully with what these guys shared, that their seeds planted for others who might want to do this next year. Ron and I are already talking about it. This is something worth sowing into. The gospel is being preached. Orphans are being taken care of. And those guys are dancing on the edge of a knife in Nicaragua, but there are opportunities galore when there's that much danger, that much peril going on. It's like, good Lord, let's see how you can do this. How you can make a way when we can. Because he did, he made a way when there really couldn't be a way. So, just consider and thank you again for your guys' support. And I think at the end, right now before we dismiss, if any of you out there would like to come up here and have some of these people pray for you and minister to you, I think that's appropriate in the Lord. We want to be able to give back to you guys too. Patty, could you go and do your thing on the electric thing? Thank you. I'm great with words, I know. Yes, thank you. So yes, it was a wonderful time today. But now, come get some ministry from these people. They have received something by being out there. Let them give it to you now. If there is like people who are sick, not doing well, come up here in faith. Just come and get ministered to before you leave. Amen? Amen.